Congresswoman, I'm so excited to have you here this morning. You are uniquely positioned to talk about several issues this morning, being a former police chief in Orlando and also this huge breach of security that we saw happen this morning. I'll ask you the same question. Hopefully you were able to hear the clip from Dan Goldman, someone who you also work very closely with, saying that, look, is impeachment a realistic possibility? So I ask you now, is the president impeachable or is this impossible?
Well, Tiffany, it's great to be with you. And I'll use the words of my chairman. While I have a tremendous amount of respect for Mr. Goldman, any action that the House takes is really about protecting our democracy and upholding the rule of law. We cannot do that without holding this president accountable. Speaker Pelosi said that nothing's off the table. I totally agree with her. Wouldn't it be great if Vice President Pence found it within himself to invoke the 25th Amendment? I believe that option is still there. You know, he was supposed to pull a coup during the certification of the electoral votes, but he carried out the duties of his job. We were encouraged by that. Who knows? But if he does not, we are fully prepared to move forward with articles of impeachment. It is about accountability. We heard what Leader McConnell said. Look, are we surprised? We've not seen him do his job since this president took office. But that has nothing to do with the House of Representatives. The tool that we have before us, given to us by the Constitution, is the power of impeachment, and we are prepared to use it.
Yeah, 11 days is a long time to leave an unhinged president, as Nancy Pelosi called him, in office. And there's a lot at stake. We'll be talking a lot more about that later in the hour. But I do want to ask you, while we have you, earlier this year, when there was a lot of unrest during the Black Lives Matter movement, you penned an extraordinary op-ed for the Washington Post, and you asked your fellow police officers, what in the hell are you doing? I want to ask you, Congresswoman, what in the hell was law enforcement doing when an insurgent mad MAGA mafia seized the Capitol this week? What's your assessment, being a former member of law enforcement?
Tiffany, what I can tell you is that, I interact with the U.S. Capitol Police every day. I have a tremendous amount of respect for many of them, work directly with them. They provide security for us, our staff, and members of the public 365 days a year. But it was very clear to me that they were not prepared for what they faced on the ground on Wednesday, meaning if there was an operational plan in place, it was inappropriate. They should have asked for assistance from other surrounding agencies, starting with Metro, proactively and not reactively. It's tough to regain control after all hell has broken loose. So obviously, there were some things that should have been done in preparing for this. They knew or should have known that these groups were coming from all over the country. We've seen them in other cities wreaking havoc. Why wouldn't they come to the Capitol? It was pretty clear on social media. The intelligence that was there in a public sphere certainly should have been available to law enforcement. And so there are a lot of unanswered questions, but we are very determined to get answers to those questions. They were not prepared. They were overwhelmed, and we need to get to the bottom of it.
And we have a lot of events coming up. We have inauguration coming up. So has your office been briefed on security around inauguration? And do you feel safe in the Capitol right now? I mean, there were people randomly walking through offices. Your colleague, Congressman Majority Whip Jim Clyburn, talked to my colleague, Chuck Todd, and said that it was odd that these people were able to find his office so randomly. So where do you stand on that? Do you feel safe? And how prepared do you think the country is for Joe Biden's inauguration?
Well, let me say, this is one of those no holds barred moments. And I think my biggest question, Tiffany, centers around how were they able to get close enough to the U.S. Capitol to be able to breach the building. That is my number one concern. You're absolutely right. Once they were inside, they certainly knew it appeared, where they were going. They targeted certain people's offices, like Whip Clyburns. And so we do have a lot of unanswered questions. House administration is kind of leading the effort on getting some of those answers, setting up briefings. We have got to get answers to the questions that we have and be confident that the operational plan that is in place for January 20th is appropriate.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.